Welcome students, good evening. Welcome to Students Accuracy and Demands class. Students, today we are going to discuss about class 9 CBSE economics. Now see, in class 9 CBSE, students, you are getting the first time this subject economics. See, we have concept of physics, chemistry, bio, mathematics, history, civics, geography, all these subjects, even right from class 6. 6 onwards we are having the concept. But this is the first time when we are coming to know about economics. So, the concept of economics should be understood first. Now, the question is, what do we mean by economics? Economics is nothing but the subject that deals with, that helps us to know about all kinds of transactions that are related with money. All incomes and expenditures taking place right from our household level to national and international level. Understood? These transactions are also called as economic activities. All those transactions that is involved with money in return are termed as economic activities. Now, there is a difference between economic activity and non-economic activity. Now suppose we are going to the restaurant and after finishing our meal, maybe lunch or dinner or whatever snacks we have in the restaurant, don't we pay for it? Yes, of course we have to pay for it. So the activity by the restaurant, by providing us the service and the food and getting back the money in return, is termed as economic activity. But at home every day we are getting food and our mother is serving us, cooking, father is going to the market, purchasing the materials, sometimes mother also goes and buys the vegetables and other materials. How much do we pay to our parents for that? We don't pay. So those activities are called as non-economic activities. So economics deals with all such economic activities. So we are going to learn now about the economy of India. So India is a country where near about 6 lakhs or even maybe more than 6 lakh villages. So, it is very important for us to know about the economy of any one of the villages of our country, of India. If we know about the economic activities of any village, definitely as India lives in villages, we will be able to understand about the economy of India itself. Because most of the people are coming from villages only. See, you ask your parents, most of your parents would tell that their origin is from any of the village, from any part of India. So therefore, you will find that our base, our root, our everything belongs to a village. So in order to know about the economy of our country, India, it is best to learn about the economy of a village. So in our first chapter of class 9 economics, it has been rightly chosen the story of the village Palampur in economics as the first chapter. So Palampur is one of the examples of the villages in our country. So that by understanding about the economy of this village, we can understand the economy of the whole country. So, okay. So let us start with with the economy of the village Palampur. Now see, as because Palampur is a village, it is not an exception that the majority of the people, more than 65 or around 70% of the population in village Palampur are farmers, or something they are doing related to farming. But main occupation is farming. So farming, what is farming? Farming means growing crops. That means producing crops also, in other ways you can see. So that means production takes place. Now for production, four main things are needed, without which no production on earth is possible. What are they, sir? They are nothing else other than land. Can you produce anything without land? Can the farmer produce anything without land? Can the farmer produce any crop without land? Crops grow on land only, grow in the soil only. So land is needed. Then suppose the land is there and the farmer goes onto the land and says, hocus pocus abracadabra, crops mera ban ja tu. Will the crops grow automatically? No. Crops will not grow until and unless he spreads his sweat. He gives his labor, hard labor he has to give. Not only he, along with him, some other people also have to be involved in his field to work. Sometimes he alone works. But anyhow, whether he alone or some other, labor has to be given. So land is needed on which the labor has to work. Now not only that, suppose for example, the farmer has to plow the field with the help of, suppose, a tractor. Now where from the tractor come for plowing the field? The tractor has to be purchased. So for that, money is also needed. Without money means the capital. Without this capital, that is the physical capital, the tractor, he cannot plow the field. And if the field is not plowed properly, no crops will grow. So physical capital is needed. Now this land has to be arranged along with the labor and the physical capital, all have to be arranged, assembled. For that, human capital is needed. What is human capital? Sir, labor is human capital. Correct, understood. But apart from that, the person is needed who has to assemble all this. He is the entrepreneur, the owner. He has the knowledge. He is applying his knowledge into the whole production system. He directs. He instructs, he plans. So thus, these are the four factors, four things which are very much essential for producing crops. They are land, labor, physical capital and human capital. Now students, here we can also divide this physical capital into two parts. That is fixed capital. Physical capital, two parts. Fixed capital and working capital. Now the tractor is the fixed capital. But for running the tractor, diesel is needed, means fuel is needed. So fuel has to be purchased. So for purchasing fuel, money is required. That would be required recurringly, constantly, repeatedly. Tractor is purchased once. Land he is having for production, that also is fixed capital. He will not purchase every day, he will, or periodically. The land once purchased, or after a long time he may purchase another land. But every day he has to pay for the fuel for running the tractor. So this money which is needed frequently for the smooth running of the production process is called as working capital. So students, you have understood factors of production without which no production is possible. What are those factors of production? Land, labor, physical capital, human capital. Physical capital again can be divided into two parts, that is fixed capital and working capital. Now, what is the main occupation of the people in the village, Indian village, or the village called Palampur? Farming. Now, in this, farming is the main activity of Palampur. Some waterland are converted to cultivable lands. See, land is fixed. Land is fixed. As I told, fixed capital. Land is fixed. We cannot suddenly wake up early in the morning, go to the field, take out the land out of the pocket, spread it out as if it is an elastic, do the production. In the evening, production finished, fold it, put it in the pocket, come back home. Surprising. How can it be? It's not possible. So land is fixed. You cannot increase or decrease the land suddenly. But out of that land only we have to take out, extract the maximum output, maximum production, maximum crops. Isn't it? So, farming is the main activity in Palampur. Some waste land. So now if you want to expand the land, in India, the land is not unlimited. But yes, there are some lands which are barren, which are waste. Suppose in the mountain areas, in forest areas, in desert areas, those lands are barren, those lands are wasteland. They have to be converted into fertile land. Like in Rajasthan, Suratgarh, you see, such a big wheat farm is there. What was it initially? It was a desert. So that has been converted into fertile land. So like this, land can be expanded, converted back into fertile land. Now, in India, means in Palampur, what we find, two types of crops. One is Kharif crop and the other one is Rabi crop. What is Kharif crop? Kharif crop is the crop that is grown in the rainy season. And the Rabi crop is the crop that is grown in the winter season. Okay, so Kharif crop means jowar and bajra, and means Rabi crop, wheat, sugarcane, etc. are the Rabi crops. Now, cropping pattern. See, most of the farmers in India are very poor, and maximum of them are landless farmers. So what happens? Even those farmers who are having a very little piece of land, small piece of land, they don't have that capital. So they are sticking to the traditional methods. And due to this, the traditional method, as because they are applying, the yield or the crop production comparatively is very less. Now, sir, what do we mean by traditional method? Suppose the farmers still, you may, in some villages you may see that some farmers are there, those who are going for early in the morning for plowing, along with him 2 bullocks, and that hoe is also carried by him, the wooden hoe. They plow their fields in such a manner. Even they have still to wait for the rain to come for irrigating their field. So these are called as the traditional methods, means old methods. They are unable to apply the modern methods, they are so poor. Okay, so cropping patterns. Now in some lands, only one crop is possible. The quality of the soil in village Palampur. What we see, that the land is so less fertile that only one crop in the year is possible to be grown. Similarly, there are some crops where double cropping, 2 crops can be grown, and some lands multiple cropping can be grown. Now, slowly, we have seen the auxiliaries, that means the helping hands of the production process. Most important helping hand or the auxiliary of farming is what? Irrigation. Now, irrigation, as I was telling, most of the people, you remember that movie Lagan? Try to remember there, when the song Ghanare Ghanare Ghan Ghan, that song started, they saw the cloud was approaching towards their village. The people, village folks, they were so happy, they started singing and dancing. But unfortunately, the clouds passed away. It didn't rain. Why were they happy? Because they felt that when the clouds would reach their village, it would rain. And due to that rain, their fields will be irrigated and the crops will grow well. But unfortunately, crops didn't grow. Why? Because it was no rain that season. So, these are all traditional methods. So, where it rains less, the cropping pattern becomes single crop. In a year, only one crop can be grown. Double cropping, year 2 crops. In a year, multiple cropping means more than 2 times crops can be grown in a year on the same piece of land. Now, if it is multiple cropping, definitely lot of facilities must be given in the production process of crops. So for that, regular supply of electricity, proper supply, proper irrigation facility, the availability of modern farming methods. For that, farmers must have capital and proper banking system so that the banks can provide loans instead of going under the clutches of the middleman, the mahajans. The poor farmers can go to the banks and take loans from the banks at a very nominal rate of interest, and they can do the work. So for that, these banking facilities, also financial institutions should be present, should open more and more branches spread out throughout the country, in every nooks and corners of the country. Okay? And if these things are available, definitely there will be a good production, so that the farmer can keep something for his and his family's consumption for the year, and after this still some crops would be left over, that would be surplus, and the farmer then can sell it in the market, the surplus crops. So now farming methods. Traditional farming method, as I was telling you, the result is ultimately the low productivity. Production becomes very less because the production process becomes very slow. Therefore, the production of crops are very low. Irrigation facilities not available. They are depending upon the rainfall. They are taking the bullocks to the field. Bullocks cannot work like the tractors. Even they are unable to purchase, the poor farmers are unable to purchase modern HYV seeds or fertilizers or manures. Isn't it? So therefore, productivity is low. Means the return at the end of the season is very low. Whereas those who are well-to-do families, the farmers, those who are comparatively rich, they can apply their modern methods of cropping or farming. Their productivity is more, the production is more, they are able to earn more. So modern farming methods also explained. What are they? Crop rotation. What is crop rotation? One crop is grown, next time some leguminous crops can be grown. Suppose wheat is grown. Due to wheat, the fertility of the soil is gone. Wheat plants have taken out all the fertilizers from the soil. Now the natural fertility can be increased by growing the leguminous plants. What are those? Those plants which have nodules in their roots. What are nodules? Suppose this is the soil and these are the roots, and these roots have got nodules. Means these nodules have the atmosphere into the soil. These are called as nodules. These circular things are called as nodules. Like peas, beans, pulses, etc. can be used. As an example, I'm telling you. So, crop rotation. Modern farming, this is one of them. But all farmers cannot. They have to depend upon wheat or wheat only. Why? Because they are not working for the surplus crops. They have to grow crops for their consumption, own consumption throughout the year. So if they grow this, they won't be able to survive. So they have to produce those crops only, main crops, food crops. So they are unable to do this modern farming methods, apply this modern farming methods. Now, electricity. Electricity is one of the most important things. This electricity only helps the farmers to run their water pumps for irrigating. They can take out this water for irrigating their fields. Okay. Not only that, even electricity is there. The children at home, they can study at night also. Otherwise, what happens? The children, they are going to the school, they are given midday meals, but they are unable to do their homeworks at home. Like you are doing now. I am doing now. I am sending this video to you all. Teachers like me. There are many other teachers also. Because of this coronavirus, we the teachers of this side of the camera are unable to meet you. So what we are doing, we are trying to send this lesson to you through internet. Why? Who makes us to do this? Who makes it possible for us to do this? Electricity. But in village, if there is no electricity, there are some villages still now. Slowly, countries developing. Most of the villages have got electricity now, but still there are some places which requires electricity, which has to be given the electricity connection. So electricity is very essential for various other works. I can understand that you don't require to be explained about the uses of electricity. Okay, so electricity is very essential for them. Now the thing is land distribution. Now see students, land distribution is of various types in the village Palampur. Some farmers have big farms, big fields. The medium farmers have medium-sized fields. The small farmers have small-sized fields. So what happens? The small farmers, they work in their field, on their field, but the production is so low that they are unable to meet their own requirement for the year for the family. So they have to earn extra. So what happens? These farmers, small farmers, or the landless farmers, not or, and the landless farmers, they go to the rich farmers, big farmers. The farmers who are having big lands. In their fields they go and work. So thus, the labor is available from inside the village itself. The landlords, they take the labor of the landless farmers. And landless farmers work on the landlords' farms, lands, and earn their daily wages in order to lead their own families. And the small farmers, they don't have their own money. So what they do? They have to depend upon the landlord for money, for capital. So that's why I told that banks are needed to open more and more branches in every nooks and corners of the different villages in the country. If the banks are there, then the farmers will not be under the clutches of the landlords or the mahajans or the middlemen. They charge high interest. Even they are unable to pay their principal amount to forget, they are unable to pay their interest. So ultimately what happens? Their land is also gone. Here I would recommend you one movie to see, so that you can understand the correct picture of a village. That is Mother India. Please watch this movie and read one story in Hindi written by Kalam ke Sipahi Munshi Premchand. That is Poos Ki Raat. Please read this story. You will understand the hardship of a farmer. You see the movie Mother India, you will see the hardship of the village people of India. Though the scenario has changed nowadays a lot, but still the basic thing is still the same. See, you will be able to understand. So now, Green Revolution. Green Revolution. What is Green Revolution? In late 60s, 1960s, there was a massive increase in the quantity of food crops, like especially wheat and some rice, paddy. Paddy means dhan, and from dhan we get rice. So the massive increase in the production, food production, in the late 1960s, in the field of wheat and rice, mainly wheat, is termed as Green Revolution. Now, Green Revolution, the father of Green Revolution, Dr. Norman Borlaug, he came to India assisted India and Pakistan, the third world countries. And initially, our farmers were afraid. Post independence, 1960s, 50s, 60s, like this. It was just post independence. So naturally, people were the farmers. They were also not that much of literate. They were feeling introvert. They were unable to go and talk to the Sahib. So therefore, it was a bit of difficult for this Green Revolution. But slowly, people or the farmers, they started understanding the importance of this farming and Green Revolution. They started believing in the modern methods of farming. Ultimately the result was a massive increase in the food production. Initially, the food production was not sufficient for the people of its own people. India was unable to feed its own people. Production was so low. And after Green Revolution, what happened? It was surprising to know that the production was so high that people kept it for their own consumption. Apart from that, there was surplus and it was exported in the foreign countries. So Green Revolution. The Green Revolution, you can understand the advantage of Green Revolution. It is very clear. The production of food increased at a massive rate. People got good money to earn. People got sufficient food to eat. Okay, high yield due to use of high yielding variety of seeds means the process means HYV seeds were used, fertilizers were used, manures were used, modern farming methods were used. Then a good irrigation facility was also used. Okay, now what were the disadvantages? See, in Green Revolution, a lot of pesticides and insecticides were used and are still used on the crops. That affects us indirectly. We consume those crops and it goes into us. Number one. Due to Green Revolution, irrigation facility has improved. We are overusing the groundwater. Underground water. So groundwater level is going down. Fresh water from the earth is reducing slowly. So a time will come very soon that there will be no water to drink, fresh water to drink. So that is another disadvantage. So now, last but not the least, the topic non-farming activities. Now what do we mean by non-farming activities? See, as I was telling you in the beginning of the chapter, most of the people in India, or rather I should say the major part of the population of India is engaged in agriculture. And agriculture has given the maximum employment. Still the population is increasing day after day. Presently we are having 130 crore people in our country. But the land, as I was telling, is fixed. We cannot increase the cultivable land suddenly. But we need to feed the population. So what to do? We have seen that agriculture has reached a saturation point. Means, what do we mean by saturation point? Now, suppose take a glass of water and put sugar, keep and stir it well. You will see that sugar is vanished into the water. Means the sugar particles have mixed up into the intermolecular space in the water. Now add more sugar. Again you will see that the sugar, after stirring it well, you will see that sugar is vanished. Like this, you keep on adding sugar. A time will come when you will see that the sugar is now no more vanishing into the water. It is visible into the glass. That means there is no more intermolecular space in the water. So population is entering into the agriculture, and more and more and more and more. Agriculture is giving them job opportunity, giving them. Now agriculture has come to the saturation point. Agriculture is no more able to give employment. But population is increasing. People have to work in order to earn money. So therefore, non-farming activities are coming into the picture. Now what do we mean by non-farming activities? Means all those activities through which we can earn money for leading our life and family, but not through agriculture, but depending or related to agriculture. So for example, in the villages itself, a person can give his own shop, open his own shop, sell products, can produce baskets, artisans, potters, cobblers, transporters. They can transport the crops from the field to the mandis, to the markets. Isn't it? Even instead of going to the field for grain crops, they can open a poultry farm, a cattle, fish, sheep rearing, so many things through which the people can earn their money living in the village itself. Such activities are called as non-farming activities. So I hope I could explain you about this chapter, the story of village Palampur, the first chapter of class 9's economics. Okay, so see, the total thing which we talked, you would see same thing is applicable in every village of India. That means every village has got the same picture, same scenario. That means this is the scenario of India. India lives in villages. So, please share this video to your friends. Let them also learn. And please like it and subscribe the channel. Okay? Thank you. I'll be coming soon with the next chapter. Okay. Bye. Good night.